Hello, Christel Dee here, and I'm going to answer some of your question on Crispy Pro's channel. Let's get started. Okay, right. So, Addy0302 says, will you ever have a cameo in Doctor Who? Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, I'd love that. Whether or not it will happen is another question. An unearthly YouTuber says, as the owner of the best hair on television, who do you think has the second best hair on television? Peter Capaldi. It was really nice of him to say that, to be fair, because I think he has the best hair on television. But if he has said that I've got the best hair on television, then he must have the second best hair on television, I guess. I'll have to ask him next time. Artyzone asks, if Lego were going to make any more Doctor Who Lego sets, what would you like to see in them? I would like to see some more classic TARDISes. I would like to, well, more TARDIS sets. But also I'd like to have like a Dalek crucible, like a really massive thing, like a huge set with loads of Daleks, like a Dalek army or something. That would be awesome, actually. Yeah. Or like a Dalek versus Cyberman set, like a kind of Army of Ghosts, sort of Doomsday kind of thing. Torchwood Tower, there we go, that's a set. Torchwood Hub, that is a set that needs to happen. Lego, get a move on. Elliot Brew asks, what is your least favourite Doctor Who episode and why? Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, so my least favourite episode is Love and Monsters, and the reason why it's my least favourite episode is because when it aired, I mean, I must have been about 14 when it aired, and the Doctor wasn't in it, and like, I just found that so boring. The fact that the Doctor wasn't in it in my favourite show, the reason why I tuned in every week was because of the Doctor. The Doctor wasn't in it, and it was just like this guy talking, and I was just like, this is really boring. But as an adult, like, I've looked back at that episode and I've watched it again, and I do see that, you know, it is quite clever. But for me, as a Doctor Who episode, and as a fan who initially watched that episode as a kid or as a teenager, it's not Doctor Who to me. I might offend some of you out there. If you don't like it, if you disagree, it's fine. Argue in the comments below. But it is my least favourite episode. Soz. Sorry if I say your name wrong. Jonah, or can you do impressions from Doctor Who? Ah, okay. So my impressions aren't really like impressions. They're just sort of like approximations of what somebody sounds like. So David is David. Well, how's my Peter Capaldi is really not very good. It's quite offensive actually, and I don't think I should do it here. I've done it in a few Five Who fans videos. So the 6th Doctor versus the 12th Doctor. I did an atrocious video where it's called I'm the Doctor and I Save People, and it's basically Peter Capaldi invading mundane scenarios and going, no, don't do that, and like, don't drink that tea, it's too hot, you'll burn your mouth. And I'm just like, see, I can't do Scottish. What was that? What was that? I sound constipated. So I don't really do impressions very well. I'll leave that job to Jake Dudman, Christopher Thompson, Elliot, Siobhan, Pete Walsh. I mean, all of them. They know what they're doing, but I just, nah. JS03 says, what is it like finding out the next celebrity you will be interviewing? Do you think you will interview Joanie Monday? It's always very exciting when we're discussing future plans and videos that we'd like to do, and certainly with the Aftershows, and yeah, no, it's always really exciting, and I'm very lucky to be able to do this as my job and as my work, and it's great. What a privilege and what an honour to be able to meet all of these people who make, you know, this special show that we all love, and it's fantastic. And especially, you know, people like Stephen Moffat. Recently I spoke to Russell T Davies, who, you know, are the reason why, I mean, Russell certainly, definitely, the reason why we've got this brilliant show, and they put so much work into it, and it's amazing. So yeah, brilliant. As for Jodie, that's for after Peter. Peter's still the Doctor, so our focus is Peter's Doctor at the moment. Which fandoms beside Doctor Who are you part of? Well, I guess, I don't know, I mean, Doctor Who is like the biggest thing that I'm really into, and in terms of being part of a fandom, you know, that's a show where I feel like there's a bit of a community around it, and I've got lots of friends who like it. But there's loads of other things that I'm a big fan of. I mean, I guess the Pet Shop Boys fandom. I mean, being a pet head, and I've got lots of friends that I've made through going to the concerts, and we go to the concerts together. And I guess, you know, yeah, I'm a pet head, I guess. But I think really Doctor Who and the Pet Shop Boys are like my two biggest things. I think if I consider myself part of those fandoms, I guess, and other stuff I sort of just like. If you could make a Doctor Who spin-off, where would it be set in the Who universe? What characters would you have in it? I do think sort of Jenny Vastra Strack's spin-off is waiting to happen. But what else? I mean, a Unit spin-off, that would be amazing. You know, following Unit around every day, a bit like Torchwood, I guess. That would be awesome. And I think you could have the regulars, you know, Kate and Osgood and all of that. That would be cool. But also, you know, I would love, like, fantasy spin-offs that probably couldn't happen anymore. I would have loved to have like an Ace spin-off just following Ace, like in the 90s. So the Doctor drops Ace back to Earth, and basically Ace has her own adventures. Like, that would be amazing. This is a really unflattering angle. Wow, and there's a really annoying light there. Boda says, how did you become a member of 5 Who Fans / presenter of the fan show? So before 5 Who Fans, I was doing my own channel, and on my own channel I was doing lots of interviews with cosplayers and going to conventions. I have been going to conventions for over 10 years. I went to my first Comic Con in like 2006, and I've been making videos on YouTube since I was about 15, since 2007. A lot of the early videos you can't actually watch anymore because it's on an older channel, and I've made them all private and they're really embarrassing. From about 2011 onwards I started doing these interview videos and stuff like that, and I was cosplaying and stuff. And 5 Who Fans were aware of me and aware of me as a Doctor Who fan. And when John Granston was leaving, they asked me if I wanted to be the next member, and of course I said yes. And then what happened was the BBC were looking for a host for the fan show, and they found my videos online and invited me to audition for that job. And I got that job, and so I became the host. But also, at the time, I have been working in the media for a few years, several years. And at the time, I was working for a YouTube channel called Match. Given that I was working in media and I had that experience in that as being a Doctor Who fan as well, I was also asked if I would like to apply for the researcher role. And I did, and I interviewed for that role, and I got both jobs. So I became the presenter and researcher for the fan show. And now, 2.5, nearly 3 years down the line, I'm now the assistant producer of the fan show, so I'm taking on a lot more responsibilities. That's kind of how that occurred, really. So just one thing just led to another, really. I did go to uni and I did do all of that, but doing your own stuff is so valuable, and use it. Like, get out there, do it, you know, experiment, have fun, because that's what I did. I trace it back further, you know, just getting into Doctor Who in the first place. The reason why I wanted to work in media is Doctor Who, so I have Doctor Who to thank for lots of things, really. The GB Summer asks, to film the after show, you must have seen the episodes in advance. How early in advance do you see them? And how do you keep quiet about what happened in them? So, yeah, that's true. We do see them in advance because we film the after show in advance. So for the after shows, I read all of the scripts in advance, and then about 10 days before the episode was going out live on Saturday, I'd see a version, not necessarily finished. Some of the CGI and the special effects are still being made. And that's actually really interesting to see. It's actually a really sort of strange way of seeing Doctor Who. But, you know, fascinating to sort of see the process. But it's necessary to watch the episodes in advance, because to film the after show and edit it and get it ready for that Saturday. So it is necessary. You know, I would still, as a fan, you know, prefer to see them with everyone else, because to answer your second question, I do have to keep everything quiet because I work for the BBC, and also I have signed a non-disclosure agreement, which basically means that I am sworn to secrecy, and actually I cannot tell anyone about anything Doctor Who related that I know, casting announcements and things like that. No, don't know. So anything like Jodie Whittaker's announcement or Peter Capaldi leaving as well, all of those things were a surprise, which was really nice actually, because I could still be a fan as well as work on the show. I still get to have surprises, which is nice. I hope that answers your question. That's it. Well, thank you very much for your questions. I've enjoyed answering them. Have a nice day. And thank you, Crispy, for asking me to be part of this video. Goodbye.